The month of May has been so far jam-packed with new games, and we actually expected nothing less. With a lot of AAA games released recently, such as Bleach, the new Power Ranger, and One Piece, some of you might wonder what about single-player games. To that end, of course, we've just rounded up a list of over 20 new offline games to pick up right now on your Android and iOS. First things first, to me it's always a delight to see a new game from these developers. Now, Japan Postman Moto Sim just hit the Play Store, and it's another offline open world game Chi Games has recently came up with that's entirely offline. Well, it's quite an underrated gem, to say the least. If you haven't figured already, it's actually the new work of the Tokyo Commute Driver games developers. So far downloaded only 1,000 times, it's about 150 megabytes in total somehow, and it's free all the way. Definitely a 10 out of 10. Now, for those of you who already had the chance to play the game Meridian 157, one hell of a realistic puzzle game, the same developers just came up with a new game, totally unrelated in story to the other one, going by the name Aurora Hills. Chapter 1. I kid you not, what you're watching is actually in-game footage. Even if you hate puzzle games or hidden objects or anything interactive, you're gonna love this one. It's entirely offline, as zero ads all the way. The graphics, sounds, music, gameplay, story, and of course, the puzzles are absolutely a masterpiece. Yes, the Dadish series just received a new entry called Dadish 3D. It's another free-to-play game by the generous developers, which is, by the way, still in the making for PCs. Dadish 3D is a platformer, it's the first 3D entry in the Dadish adventure games. It has over 50 different stages to play, controller support, new characters, a new setting, and all that actually playable offline too. Dadish is right now on both the Google and the App Store, and takes you no more than 400 megabytes in total. Moving on to number 4, we have Sidestep Storm. It's a Subway Surf style running game, rated a 5 out of 5, not to mention, and downloaded almost 10,000 times since only 72 hours ago. Highly recommend give this one a shot. It's playable both online and offline. It has different modes, very enjoyable pace to it. Like, you get different types of obstacles on the run. Besides, it actually has different modes and really stunning visuals. So free game over here, about 200 megabytes in total.
Embark on a chilling journey into the depths of mystery and intrigue.
That being said, Shadow of Truth is technically a virtual reality game. Totally playable on the go, of course, because basically mobiles support VR camera angles and you're pretty much good to go if you could afford the 500 megabyte storage requirements. Now, Shadow of Truth VR Detective is actually a horror game about this detective and a close friend of his who happens to be a scientist and has made a groundbreaking invention and now is missing. The game is free, plays offline, and it's about 400 megabytes in total. Number 6, we've got over here actually a premium game now on the Play Store exclusively and ready to go with a 90% off. The game just takes you about 20 cents. Anyway, Strike Back 2 is a cover fire style and third-person shooter that has like a tower defense feel to it. You set traps, manage the zombie waves coming your way, and use different and stronger weapons along the way for future. There's boss fights, lots of different enemies, and even more upgradables and unlockables along the way. Decent game, we'll give it a solid 8 out of 10. Dumb Ways to Survive is actually right now rated as the number 3 best of 2024 free-to-play adventure game on the Play Store. Well, it's sitting on both the Google and the App Store via the Netflix membership and offers over 5 different modes to play through, so you won't really have to worry about the game getting any boring. It's a simple yet pretty satisfying roguelike survival adventure game with almost 1 million downloads on the Play Store. It's free, plays offline. Overlord Arena, however, we'd like to say is our hit or miss of the day. It's a kind of game you'll either hate or you couldn't really have enough of soon as you finish a few rounds. It's a vehicle combat action game like the Vigilance games, but the problem is it is bugged. Lots of bugs. Your phone either supports it entirely, or if the screen stops for some reason and there's a glitch, that's just it. We suggest you wait a little while until the developers have come up with an update, until you give it a final review, otherwise it's a really fun to play game. Been available on stores for a while now. Our honorable mention of the day here would be Smiling X the sequel, which actually just reached over 1 million downloads on the Play Store and has become entirely playable offline on Android and iOS worldwide. I don't know, if you like to challenge yourself or don't mind being chased a lot, which could be really frustrating, you're gonna have a blast with this game. Because it's basically all just that. It's like a really good package of adrenaline. Plays offline, is about 150 megabytes in total. It's a good game, definitely hard. Number 10, we have Ada's Study. This is actually another paid puzzle game. You can pick this one or the next game in the list for $2 each and have a really good time with either one, no matter what type of puzzles you're into. Ada's Study, however, is actually a realistic game with an actual story and a pretty decent narrative and a good dose of puzzles up until the very end of the game. It's both on the Google and the App Store, rated 5 out of 5 on either one, and it's about 200 megabytes in total. Blue Wednesday is the other game you can pick up for $1.99, although it's a point-and-click, in a way, interactive puzzle adventure, and say at any point you played an Annapurna interactive game and like just the pace of the story and overall feel and gameplay, Blue Wednesday is simply made to feel like one of them. It's peaceful, emotional, you get a dozen different mini games along the journey and a good few hours of regular everyday story. We give this one a solid 7 out of 5. The game's also about 1 gigabyte in total. Moving on to number 12, we have Hill Climb Truck Challenge. To be quite frank, I don't even know why this game is in the list. It's older than my nephew, this game, but a couple of days ago I just felt like trying something frustrating. I wanted to play a truck driving game and I picked this one. And yeah, it's a obstacle based, challenging, like physics based casual game with a pretty nice little range of trucks and different stages to make you want to throw your phone off the window if you keep trying to win. It's a free game and about 50 megabytes in total. Why not?
Kommt jetzt auf die heimischen Bildschirme.
Number 13, we've got Anzeimen Hauptmeister. What? Anzeimen, whatever. I translated it, it means advertising master. So you're just this messenger bike in a small innocent little town, and your job in this game is to just basically spread fear and terror for fun. Highly recommend this game if you have sadism, and why not, you like disturbing people because it brings a little joy to your heart too. Try it, it won't disappoint. It's actually an open world game. 5 Nights of Timokha actually went on and just got a sequel called The Village. This thing is rated a 5 out of 5 on the Play Store and it's got over 10,000 downloads since just 2 days ago. The only problem we can think of right now is that this game is basically Russian. However, the menu, the HUD, the items, and most of the game's in-game contents are all translated to English. So you're gonna be fine, you're gonna be totally fine throughout the whole game too. It's basically a puzzle horror adventure game with a lot of silly comedy and a good ending too. Solid 9 out of 10. Playable with pretty much any, I repeat, any controllers you have at your disposal. Number 15, we have Feel FPV Drone. Right? It's a drone controlling realistic sim game with over 100,000 downloads on the Play Store alone. Free game, so to speak. My guess is that you're not going to be able to find a better drone sim game out there right now, considering it's an offline game and it's free too. Anyway, so yeah, if you don't know what FPV drones are, play this one either on the Google or the Apple Store, you'll find out. Number 16, we have bathroom. Well, considering that place is where most of the world's horror takes place. This game is actually a puzzle horror game in first person. The story is, hear this, it's you play as a truck driver, suddenly you get this overwhelming urge to go, so you stop at a grocery store only to find out the toilet's broken. Anyway, it's a free game, give it a shot, it's only 150 megabytes in total, definitely worth a try. Sky Defender, on the other hand, is an immersive space combat game in which you play as a skilled pilot and you have the access to a big range of advanced weaponry, including cannons, drones, and even your own spaceship to just smash. Besides the pretty good graphics, we'd like to add, this game is definitely one of the most fine-tuned and immersive sim games we've played since 2024. It's huge in scale actually, and plays entirely offline. Coming in at number 18, we have Unimo, StarTrip. It's a pretty simple, casual farming and dodging game where you help this adorable creature avoid space bugs, collect spirits, and then smash your enemies. We suggest you try Unimo if you're into bullet hell shooters and action platformers, because it has all the good qualities of both. It's a free game, it gets more challenging as you go and offers a decent amount of grind. If you have already played Vampire Survivors, and I don't know, say you found yourself enjoying it and are fond of the roguelike formula, we highly recommend you try Dark Survival 2. Because some of you out there have already admitted that Vampire Survival has too much grind and it's a bit too hard to put down, which I don't disagree. For that reason, Dark Survival over is a decent substitute to get off Vampire Survivor for a while. It's so far downloaded over 1 million times as well. Go figure. Quick mention over here. Super Block is actually a card-based racing game. Trailer over here make you think it's an idle RPG, because it seems like it. It's actually an arcade racing classic that offers both a single player and a multiplayer. Decent full of cars and switches to play through. We suggest you try this one if you have a decent Wi-Fi, because this game takes you almost 1 gigabyte of storage. It's available both on the Google and the App Store as well. That's right. Number 21, we have a Endless Runner game, quite a bit inspired by the famous game Victor, except it's just made with like Stigman game graphics. However, it's way too damn addictive. And for that reason alone, we'll give it a 10 out of 10. The other reason is just jumping and avoiding overall gameplay physics are really good. Play this one for free, no Wi-Fi required, the whole thing's 60 megabytes in total and has a ton of different colors on your characters, whatever. And last but not least, with a 4.7 out of 5 and just a handful of downloads, we have Bear Avalanche, which is, as you can see, it's a top-down obstacle-based racing game from Peggy 3 class, where just one simple mistake, however, just sends all your progress down the toilet. Personally, quite enjoyed it because of the car physics. The bear attacks are rather annoying, but altogether, it's a pretty decent offline game for, old players like myself. Give it a 6.5 out of 10. It's an offline game and it's free too.